How do I look?
Fine. You look very nice.
No, drinks on Sunday can be very tricky. I mean, it being Sunday, you want to try and look casual and yet cope with the competition. And the competition at Mirabelle Wentworth can be pretty fierce. Are you listening to this?
Can you go in your car?
On my own?
Well, I have some people to pick up.
Oh, you are marvellous, darling. In which case I get the "Oh, where's John" bit again, do I?
I may well be there before you.
In which case I get the "Oh, where's she been" bit. You know, it's going to be quite a day in the social calendar when you and I walk through a door together. Who are these people, anyway? Oh, where's John? Well, he had to pick up some people.
Oh, yes, those Americans.
Oh, is that what they are?
Yes, he asked me if he could bring them. Come on, my darling, let's get you a drink.
Please.
There's lots of lovely, chubby people here. We must ingratiate ourselves. Now, there's a very pretty gentleman over there, for instance. Who is he, do you suppose?
Excuse me.
Oh, I see.
You're very lovely.
Thank you.
I'm drunk, you know. I've been drunk for the last hour. In fact, if we're being honest, I've been drunk for the past 7 years.
Come and meet my minister. I'll get a drink on the way.
Oh, here, would you care for this one?
Mr. Papagay only drinks fruit juice. Ugly fruit at that. He's the ugly American, you know.
Yeah, I think they are crosstalk comedians.
Hello, Pamela. Hello, John. I see you got here all right. Oh, yes, it was quite easy, really. Once I got the wheels turning round, the car just went in the direction I pointed it. Would you like to meet my friends? Oh, I'd love to. Who are they, anyway?
Some people who'd rather push themselves in on some deal John's interested in.
What sort of deal?
I've no idea.
Oh, yes, you have. But if you're not going to say, you can get me another drink and then start shutting me up.
Right, now go away.
Observers. Why not? Why not, indeed? I think you're getting in deeper than you know.
Do you think so? Why?
Those boys will twist your arm until your ears light up. At the end of it, you still won't be any nearer moving that contract to Germany. Cheers.
Cheers.
It used to be so easy. Everything was so easy. People behaved with a fundamental courtesy. They had charm. There was none of this slap, bang, wallop, high-pressure business and conniving at every turn. It's all so wearying.
Look, if it wearies you so much, Jason, why don't you have a nice lie down? You know, you shouldn't drink so much at your age.
Oh, God, it's worse if I don't. I mean, what else is there but a bottle of brandy and où sont les neiges d'antan?
Are they CIA?
I don't know. Kane seems to think they are.
Yes, I think they are, too. Now what we have to ask ourselves is why would the CIA be interested in a straightforward contract for a solar energy project?
You know what I think? I think they're going to send a rocket to the sun, put a flag on it, and charge us royalties on our suntans.
Where would American intelligence come into it?
Nobody tells me anything, Don. Absolutely nothing at all. And if they did, honor wouldn't allow me to say, so what would be the point? I begin to doubt the whole concept of diplomacy and myself.
You were a long time.
Oh, somebody got hold of me by the ear. I'm sorry.
Actually, I've had two since you went. Somebody brings them round on a tray. They say if you sit here long enough, all the drinks you know will go fast.
I had to get hold of the hostesses.
Darling,
They run out of...
I want you to do something for me.
Hello, John. Fancy
Sorry,
seeing me.
Pamela, I'm in the middle of something. I don't want those two Americans left on their own, particularly if they're near Kane. If you see him making towards them, head them off. At least until I can get them away to lunch.
You didn't tell me you were bringing them home for lunch.
No, well, I shall have to lunch them somewhere else.
Are you perhaps trying to tell me that you're not coming home to lunch either?
No, I'm not coming home to lunch either. Keep an eye on them.
Busy, busy, busy. In which case, I shall have two more drinks myself and decide whether I'm going home for lunch.
As opposed to what?
Suggest something.
You're Sir John's assistant, I believe.
Yes.
Well, I don't think I had the pleasure of meeting the lady.
Sir John's wife.
Oh, is that so? She's a very handsome woman. Most personable in every way.
I'm sure she'd be delighted to learn of your admiration.
Well, I hope someday to have the pleasure of telling her myself. If anyone ever introduces me, that is. Maybe if Sir John doesn't do it, you might.
Yes, certainly.
How's Professor Moggs? I had hoped to see him this trip, but it doesn't seem very likely now. I hear there's been quite a lot of changes in MI6. Someone told me they're actually thinking of installing a computer, but only if it'll make tea as well.
Who's Professor Moggs?
Just as you like. I must say, perfidious Albion gets more perfidious every time I come here. Must be ingrained into you.
You think so?
It's very difficult to work out who does what and with whom. There's your Mr. Kane, whom I gather you don't like very much, pulling in one direction, and your Sir John Wilder, whom you may or may not like, or whose family you may or may not like, pulling in the other, and you in the middle. I'd have thought if you stepped into that, you could get your throat cut from here to just about where you're standing.
You see it written everywhere in this country. Honi soit qui mal y pense. Evil but him who evil thinks.
Yes, we do read Latin, Mr. Darling.
I understand they give you a very good education in case you're sent abroad where you might need it.
And somewhere in the middle of this tug-of-war is British government policy.
While somewhere off to the right stands American government policy.
But what is British government policy?
What is American government policy?
Well, at least it's not decided by over-ambitious nonentities in pursuit of personal glory.
Where did you get that information? Dallas, California, or Alabama?
Now, look, mister, I think we've had just about enough of this.
Your friend's seams are coming unstitched. You have to put that in your personal report on him when you get back, won't you?
We're merely trying to assess what'll be the most hopeful channel to pursue.
I hope you'll have that thought written on your calendar when the Pentagon decides Western Europe is an expendable military area in the Great War for the rights of what is left of man. We'll have it written in Russian as well.
Mr. Dowling, I think you're reading into this more than is there.
It's like the hippopotamus said to the other hippopotamus. I keep thinking it's Wednesday.
Oh, good. Yes, I was looking for you.
Oh, I'm sorry, you've been waiting for us.
It's only that I have a table booked for 2 o'clock.
All right, well, we'll go and get our coat, shall we? We'll see you down at the car, all right?
Fine.
I checked on them.
Checked?
I thought you might like to know more about them.
What did you imagine that I didn't know?
For instance, they are not U.S. Treasury officials as such. They're Foreign Economics Department of the CIA.
The one thing I find about the British Civil Service, Lincoln, is that people's jobs are insufficiently defined. Yours, for example.
It's defined as being your private secretary, the definition of which is someone who assists.
And is that what you thought you were doing?
I thought you should have all the relevant information.
Keep your nose out of it, Sonny. I knew who they were. You didn't. It was you who wanted to know. Because, not that you thought I should know, because you wanted to know. So you made a telephone call.
The civil service is an instrument of government. It's not like industry, where all you're concerned with is the end of
Now,
the
let me explain one basic fact about life in the industry to you. If a person is one's assistant, that's what he is, and he is that. Irrespective of what the opposition are doing or what the subsidiaries are doing. He's subordinate, therefore, he's subordinative, and if he's not, he's fired.
What are you?
How did you get here this morning?
I was given a lift.
By whom?
If you didn't know, you wouldn't ask. Kane gave me a lift.
Why?
He rang me up and suggested it. I had the feeling he was trying to pump me.
What did you tell him?
What did you imagine I'd tell him? What do I know?
What do you need to know in order to do your job?
Do you imagine I've been running to Kane with every bit of tittle-tattle?
All I know about this job is that it's like looking through a microscope to a lot of pond amoeba who are over-anxious to evolve into pensionable bipeds with knighthoods. I've no idea what you get up to.
Fowler is Kane's toady. Why else do you think he keeps him in tow?
Perhaps because he thinks he can rely on him.
Yes, he does. That must be nice for him.
Well, I'm having some people in for drinks tonight. I want you to be there.
Oh, thank you. Very graciously put.
It's part of your job. About 7, all right?
All right. Oh, there is one thing. Don't ever call me Sonny.
Don't ever give me occasion to.
She'd welcome anyone extra to eat it up.
Aren't you going to answer that?
No. I never answer phones on Sundays.
Never?
Not when you're here.
I haven't been here before.
That's why I used to answer phones on Sundays. The kettle won't be long boiling.
There must have been other occasions when you haven't answered phones on Sundays.
Occasionally. Less often, as a matter of fact, than you might think. There you are. I take the same attitude with telephones as the Duke of Wellington used to take with letters. If it's important, someone will come round. And if it isn't important, why are they ringing me up in the first place?
It might be just as well that they don't come round this afternoon.
Yes. I suppose you're right.
That's all right. Weren't no trouble, miss. Well, have a good time.
Well, just a minute. I say, it was nice of you to come out of your way. You won't be offended, will you? Get some chocolate.
What were they like?
Who?
Those other occasions when you didn't answer the telephone.
Various?
So we could sum up your love life as being occasional and various.
That sounds better than it was.
Everything does.
No, not everything.
How long have you lived here?
About 3 years.
Before that?
St. John's Wood. I lived there with a girl for 18 months.
I see. What happened to her?
She went. Anyway, she was married.
You seem to make a habit of it. Married women.
I don't live with you.
Where was her husband?
North Africa. He had a job there. She wouldn't go with him. They didn't get on, but they wouldn't divorce. I think they both used their marriage as an escape route when they wanted to get out of situations they'd had enough of.
And had she had enough of you?
I can be very boring.
Can you?
When I don't try.
Yes, it's easy when you don't try. Are you going to kiss me again?
Never mind, take me home, will you?
Look, in about 3 hours from now, I have to greet a lot of guests with my husband, and it's very important that I appear completely calm and collected.
Is it important?
I must be mad. The kettle.
It's all right. The plug will come out if it boils.
No, you must turn it off, please. Well, otherwise we won't be able to think about anything else, will we? Look, you've got to answer that, otherwise they'll just keep on ringing. Oh, very well. I'll answer it and tell them you're not in. Hello, 3492.
Hello, it's Lincoln Darling there. I want to speak to him. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
I've been trying to get you all afternoon.
Well, yes. It's Dowling here. Yes, I'm sorry. I was out.
Where do you keep that stuff on the CTI?
Oh, well, yes, I know the file you mean. It's in the filing cabinet in my office. The second drawer, marked Foreign Information. Yes. Oh, yes, of course. Oh, Wilder, there's a continuation file in the third drawer. Yes. Goodbye. Do you think he recognized your voice?
I don't know.
Something wrong?
Oh? Lincoln says that it's in his filing cabinet, the second drawer, marked Foreign Information. Get it for me, would you? You said something?
I was asking if there was anything wrong.
Oh, no. I just wondered whether he'd read that file.
Is there something in it that would make this whole thing a little more clear? Because if so, I could wish I'd read it.
Oh, the matter is very unconfused, really. The confusion has been dragged in from outside.
By you or by whom?
Oh, by people who are going off half-cocked for their own personal aggrandizement.
Which is not what you're doing.
Oh. Now, let me explain something to you.
Please do.
This seems to be it.
Oh, well, find out the stuff on a French firm called CTI, will you?
You were going to be so kind as to explain something to me.
You see it as a battle between me and Kane. You imagine, want it to happen the way I want it to, and he wants it to happen the way he wants it to.
Well, it has given that impression, yes.
And that's all. I want to get the better of him.
It has been known to happen.
Seldom. You found it there?
Ah, he's just coming to it. Compagnie Technologie, yeah.
Has it occurred to anybody to consider that it could be a choice between it happening the way I want it to happen or it not happening at all?
No, it hadn't, because nobody has ever told me that could be the choice.
What do you do, Jayston? Sit on your BTM out there, let other people do the work and make the decisions and come rushing to you with the glad tidings?
I think I've always made the fundamental error that the aim was for the people in the department to work together in harmonious concord.
This will make that fundamental error once too often, Jayston, and you'll be out on your fundament.
Nicely put.
Has it occurred to anybody to consider why the Americans are so interested in this?
What are you doing here?
You sent a message you wanted to see me.
Why?
No idea. Has he said anything?
No. No, I haven't seen him. He hasn't been home. Who gave you the message?
Henderson rang me up.
And he didn't say why?
No, nothing at all.
Would you like something to drink?
Are you having anything?
I've already got one.
We'll have a whiskey then, please.
I don't think I said enough for him to recognize my voice.
Well?
Well, what?
Well, if he did, he did, and if he didn't, he didn't.
And if he did?
We just have to wait and see, won't we?
Would you, like to sit down?
No, thank you.
It was, quite an innocent afternoon, really. All things considered.
Depends whether you measure innocence by the act or the intent.
How do you know what my intent was?
No, I suppose I don't.
Nor I yours either, do I? I don't particularly want to be filed under occasional and various.
I'd hoped you wouldn't be.
Do you want to see him alone, or would you like me here with you?
Alone, I think. If we're both together, one of us is sure to look guilty.
The reason for which being, of course, that we are.
A man in this country called Levinson has developed the prototype from which a power station can be made, which will cost a fifth of what it would cost before.
I know about Dr. Levinson.
Then you must also know that the same photovoltaic cell that he has developed, with the motor that it drives, is its present stage of development, is capable of driving a light tank at 48 miles an hour for 5 hours in any country which has in excess of 4 hours continuous sunshine, which means any emergent country within a few thousand miles of the equator.
No, I didn't know that.
So that's why American intelligence were here.
Of course it was. The Americans want Levinson over there, and he won't go. He'll stay in Europe. And the Americans will do anything to stamp on him moving to any place which would be a security risk, even to quoting NATO agreements at us.
What security risk?
Well, it's all in Lincoln's file. The CTI of France is principally owned by Monsieur Hurndall.
Yes, I know, Hurndall.
Lincoln, why is his name underlined in red on your file?
Because he was suggested as a possible security risk.
Hurndall?
His eldest son is a member of the Communist Party.
But that's ludicrous.
Ludicrous to you. Not to me. But you try and convince the CIA of it. If your great-grandmother waved her hand at Karl Marx out of a bus, they'd underline your name in red.
But they can't.
They can and they will. It's a fait accompli. We either go their way, or the chances are we don't go at all. And even then, they have a price.